Have you ever given your all to someone only to feel like it wasn't appreciated? Have you poured your heart into being kind only to be left feeling empty and used? It's a tough reality, isn't it? The truth is, kindness is one of the most powerful forces we have as humans. It's the glue that holds relationships together, the spark that can change someone's day, and often the thing that makes the world feel a little bit brighter. But here's a question we often overlook. Is kindness always worth giving? Think about it. Kindness can heal wounds, build bridges, and spread joy, but not everyone is deserving of that kindness. The cold truth is that some people will take your kindness for granted, leaving you feeling drained. And that's where it gets complicated. What if you could learn how to give your kindness to those who truly deserve it? What if you could stop wasting your energy on people who don't appreciate it and instead use that energy to grow and nurture the relationships that actually matter? Stick with me until the end of this video, and I promise you'll walk away with a deeper understanding of how to protect your heart while still being kind. You'll discover how to empower yourself to stop giving to the wrong people and focus on those who genuinely value your efforts. We live in a world that often celebrates kindness as if it's a universal truth that should be extended to everyone without question. But in reality, kindness isn't always the easy answer. It takes energy, vulnerability, and an open heart. It comes with risks, and sometimes it leads to disappointment. The truth is, kindness is not meant for everyone. And it's something we need to be more mindful about, because when we give kindness to the wrong people, we end up losing a piece of ourselves. We start to question if it's even worth it. But there's a deeper lesson here, one that many fail to see. Kindness is a reflection of who you are, not necessarily who they are. It's about the love you carry within yourself. So when you give, you're offering something beautiful. But the question is, who are you giving it to, and what are you receiving in return? Think about it from a psychological standpoint. We are hardwired to be compassionate. Our brains release feel-good chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin when we perform acts of kindness. In those moments, it feels like we're doing something meaningful. Helping someone else gives us a sense of purpose, connection, and happiness. And that's where the danger lies. Because if we don't recognize when our kindness is being taken advantage of, we can end up giving until there's nothing left for ourselves. Kindness at its core is meant to build. It's meant to nurture and grow healthy relationships, foster trust, and create a sense of community. It's the human way of showing that we care for one another. But here's the thing. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you continuously give to those who don't value your kindness, eventually you'll run dry. You'll feel unappreciated, frustrated, and worst of all, you'll start to question your own worth. So how do we break free from this cycle? How do we learn to give kindness without depleting ourselves? That's exactly what we'll explore in this video. It's time to stop blindly giving your kindness to anyone who asks for it. It's time to start being more discerning about where your energy goes. You don't have to be harsh or unkind, but you do need to recognize when your kindness isn't being reciprocated or valued. The power lies in knowing when to walk away and when to protect your energy. As we dive deeper into this, think about your own life. How often have you found yourself giving more than you received? How often have you poured your energy into people who never gave you anything back? What did it cost you? Now imagine what it would feel like to protect that energy, knowing that you have the power to choose who gets access to it and who doesn't. Imagine the peace and strength that comes with taking back control. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer sense of who you should be investing your kindness in. You'll understand the deep connection between kindness and self-care and how to protect yourself while still being a compassionate, loving person. But before we dive into all of that, think about this. What would it mean for you to stop giving your kindness to those who don't deserve it? How would your life change if you could start giving to those who appreciate it, who reflect your efforts in return? Stick around until the end and we'll uncover that answer together. Let's break down what kindness really means. It's often described as the act of being friendly, generous, and considerate. But in its purest form, kindness is much more than just good deeds. It's a reflection of your inner values, your emotional intelligence, and your ability to connect with others on a deeper level. When you act with kindness, you show others that you care. It's a universal language that speaks to the heart. But what happens when this deep, genuine kindness isn't met with the same respect or appreciation. In human psychology, there's something called the reciprocity principle. This principle suggests that people feel a natural urge to return favors or acts of kindness. When we give to others, we subconsciously expect something in return, whether it's gratitude, respect, or emotional connection. And this is where things can get tricky. Not everyone follows this principle. Some people will take your kindness and leave you with nothing. And this is where the danger lies. When you give without boundaries, it's easy to end up feeling used, drained, and frustrated. Because at some point, you'll realize that your kindness isn't a free pass for others to take advantage of you. But here's something even deeper. Kindness isn't just about what we give to others. It's also about what we give to ourselves. The way we treat others reflects how we see ourselves. When you offer kindness, you're showing that you believe in compassion, that you trust in the goodness of humanity. But when someone doesn't appreciate it, or worse, takes advantage of it, it can start to damage your self-worth. You may begin to question, why am I being kind if it's not being valued? And that's when the shift happens. We have to understand that kindness isn't just a transaction, it's an expression of who we are. But it's also important to remember that your kindness should not be a tool for others to manipulate. You deserve to be valued, respected, and treated with the same kindness you offer. And if someone isn't giving that back, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their inability to appreciate the value you bring. Let's look at it from a psychological perspective. Human beings are wired to form connections. We crave meaningful relationships, trust, and respect. Kindness is the bridge that connects us to others. It opens the door for deeper emotional exchanges, creates bonds, and makes us feel connected. However, the danger comes when people exploit this need for connection and start taking advantage of your kindness. They know that you're wired to help, to nurture, to care, but instead of appreciating that, they take what they can without ever offering something in return. And that's where we often go wrong. We keep giving, hoping they'll eventually get it, but they don't. This is why understanding kindness is crucial. It's not about constantly sacrificing your emotional energy for others. It's about knowing when to invest and when to pull back. You must be aware of the signals that tell you whether someone deserves your kindness or not. The more you understand kindness, the more empowered you become to make better choices with where and how you spend your emotional energy. Another aspect of kindness that often goes overlooked is its power to affect our own well-being. When we offer kindness to others, it boosts our self-esteem and provides a sense of fulfillment. We feel good about helping others, and this reinforces our desire to be kind. But here's the catch. When we give without discretion, we eventually run out of that good feeling. We begin to feel depleted, as if the kindness we've offered has been drained from us. The psychological term for this is compassion fatigue. When you've given so much of yourself to others that you begin to feel emotionally numb, exhausted, or even resentful. And while it's natural to want to help and be kind, it's essential to balance this with self-awareness. You must ask yourself, is this person truly benefiting from my kindness, or am I just trying to please them? The answer to that question will help you determine whether your kindness is creating a healthy dynamic or whether it's being taken for granted. We often hear that kindness is a virtue, a moral compass that guides us through life. And it is. But there's a deeper truth that many overlook. Kindness is also about self-preservation. It's about knowing when to protect your energy, when to say no, and when to stop giving to people who don't deserve it. When you understand the power of kindness, you can use it as a tool for connection rather than as a sacrifice that depletes your emotional resources. Think about the times in your life when you've been kind to someone who didn't appreciate it. Perhaps it was a friend, a family member, or even a colleague. How did you feel afterward? Did you feel uplifted and connected, or did you feel drained, disappointed, and undervalued? The reality is, sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to stop giving to people who won't reciprocate. True kindness requires discernment. It's not about shutting down or becoming cold and distant. It's about being wise. It's about recognizing when your kindness is making a positive impact and when it's simply being taken for granted. By doing so, you create healthier relationships, protect your emotional energy, and ultimately feel more empowered in your interactions with others. Here's the truth. Your kindness is a gift. It has the power to change lives, to heal wounds, and to foster connection. But you must be selective about where and to whom you offer it. When you give your kindness to the right people, those who value it, who appreciate it, and who give it back, you'll find that your heart feels fuller, your energy feels restored, and your relationships become more meaningful. In the end, understanding kindness isn't just about the acts you perform. It's about recognizing the true value of your own emotional energy and using it wisely. When you do this, you'll no longer feel like you're giving more than you have. Instead, you'll start to feel the joy, the fulfillment, and the strength that comes with giving your kindness to those who truly deserve it. Billy Graham once said, "Not everyone deserves your kindness." This powerful statement strikes at the heart of a truth that many of us often overlook. Kindness is not something to be given freely to everyone. We've been taught to be kind, to offer help without hesitation, to love and care for others selflessly. But there's a deeper layer to kindness that we must understand. It's not always about the act itself, but about where that kindness is going and what it is being used for. Billy Graham's wisdom is a reminder that our kindness has value. It's not a commodity to be given away without discernment. The reason he says not everyone deserves your kindness is because in life there are people who will take, use, and drain you without ever giving anything meaningful back. And here's the key. Your kindness is not an unlimited resource. It's not an endless well that others can keep drawing from without consequence. What Graham is pointing to is a psychological truth. Humans are wired to care for others, but we also need to protect ourselves. When you give too much without receiving anything in return, you start to lose a part of yourself. Over time, this builds up frustration, resentment, and exhaustion. Kindness, when given to those who don't deserve it, becomes a form of self-sabotage. It leaves you emotionally bankrupt while the person on the receiving end walks away without any true appreciation. But here's the thing. You're not meant to give all of your kindness to everyone. The people who truly deserve your kindness are the ones who value it, who recognize the effort, and who give it back in meaningful ways. And when you understand this, you begin to protect your emotional energy. You stop pouring yourself into relationships and situations that are not serving you. Instead, you reserve your kindness for the people who truly honor it and reciprocate in a way that fosters growth, trust, and respect. Think about your life for a moment. How often have you given your kindness to someone who didn't seem to care? How many times have you offered a helping hand, only to be left with nothing but disappointment? The reality is, this happens to all of us. We get so caught up in our desire to be loving, to be helpful, to be selfless, that we forget to consider whether the person we're giving to truly deserves it. And this is where the problem begins. It's crucial to understand that kindness in and of itself is a beautiful thing. It creates connection. It builds trust. It can heal wounds and offer hope to those who need it most. But when you give it to the wrong person, kindness can quickly turn into a source of frustration. You can become resentful, wondering why your efforts are not being appreciated. You can start to feel used like a tool for someone else's benefit, without any thought of your own needs or boundaries. What Billy Graham is teaching us is that we must develop a sense of discernment when it comes to who receives our kindness. This is not about being cold or unkind. It's about being wise. It's about recognizing that your emotional energy is precious. When you waste it on people who don't value you, you're robbing yourself of the ability to give to those who truly need it. You're sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others who won't even acknowledge the value of your efforts. The problem arises when you don't have clear boundaries. You may think that if you just give a little more, they'll appreciate you. You may think that by being extra kind, you'll win their affection or gratitude. But in reality, this often leads to disappointment. It's a vicious cycle that only drains your energy and leaves you questioning your own worth. But here's the reality. You don't owe anyone your kindness. Your kindness is yours to give, and it should be given to those who truly deserve it. And how do you know who deserves it? It's simple. Look for those who treat you with respect, those who appreciate your efforts, and those who reciprocate kindness in their own way. These are the people who will build you up, not tear you down. These are the people who will respect your emotional energy, not take advantage of it. Now, this doesn't mean you should become cold-hearted or start withholding kindness from everyone. Kindness is a powerful force for good in the world, and we should never lose sight of that. But what it does mean is that you must be strategic about where you invest your kindness. Think of your kindness as a limited resource. Where are you putting it, and what are you getting in return? In the world of human psychology, there's a concept known as emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others. It's the ability to manage your own emotions as well as the emotions of those around you. People with high emotional intelligence are able to navigate their relationships with wisdom and discernment. They know when to give, when to pull back, and when to set boundaries. And this is exactly what Billy Graham's words are pointing to. Emotional intelligence allows you to recognize when your kindness is being valued and when it's being taken for granted. When you apply this wisdom, you'll find that you start to feel stronger, more fulfilled, and more empowered in your relationships. Instead of feeling drained by people who don't appreciate you, you'll feel energized by those who value your kindness and respect your boundaries. You'll create deeper, more meaningful connections, and you'll begin to attract the kind of people who are deserving of your love and care. Billy Graham's message is not a call to be unkind, it's a call to be wise. To understand that kindness is not an open invitation for anyone to take what they want, it's a reminder that we must be selective in who we invest our energy in. When we give to the right people, our kindness becomes a powerful tool for building strong, meaningful relations. And in doing so, we protect our own emotional health and ensure that our kindness is not wasted but cherished. In the end, the question is not whether you should be kind. The question is who you should be kind to. Recognizing this is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It's time to stop giving your kindness away to those who don't deserve it and start investing in relationships that will nurture, support, and uplift you in return. It's easy to fall into the trap of overgiving. In a world that constantly tells us to be selfless, to put others before ourselves, we can easily get caught up in the idea that kindness means sacrificing everything for the sake of others. But when you overgive, you risk losing something much more valuable, yourself. Overgiving leads to burnout, resentment, and a sense of emotional depletion that can leave you feeling empty and unappreciated. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself giving more than you could afford, emotionally or physically, only to be left feeling drained, unappreciated, or even used? In the beginning, it might feel good. It feels rewarding to help, to give, to be there for someone who needs you. But over time, the emotional toll starts to add up. When you give without boundaries, without considering your own limits, you begin to lose touch with your own needs. And that's when things begin to shift from being a selfless act to a self-sabotaging one. The danger of overgiving is that it erodes your sense of self-worth. At first, you might feel like you're doing something noble. You're helping others, you're being a good friend, family member, or partner. But when your kindness is not reciprocated, when your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated, you begin to feel like you're giving for the wrong reasons. Your acts of kindness no longer feel rewarding. They begin to feel like an obligation, something you have to do to earn validation or love. This can lead to feelings of resentment, frustration, and self-doubt. Human psychology tells us that when we don't receive what we need in return, whether that's appreciation, respect, or emotional support, we begin to question our own value. This is why overgiving can be so dangerous. It creates a cycle where you feel like you're not enough unless you're giving, unless you're helping, unless you're constantly putting others' needs before your own. But in reality, this only leads to burnout. It's a cycle that's difficult to break because it taps into our deepest desires to be needed, to be loved, and to be appreciated. But here's the truth. You don't have to give everything away to prove your worth. You don't have to lose yourself in the process of helping others. True kindness comes from a place of strength, not from a place of desperation. When you're secure in who you are, when you understand your worth, you can give in a way that doesn't leave you empty. The key is understanding that your kindness should never come at the cost of your own well-being. The psychology behind overgiving lies in our need for validation. We want to feel like we matter, like we are making a difference in someone's life. And when we overgive, we believe that by giving everything we have, we will receive that validation. But this is a flawed belief. You can't fill a void of self-worth by constantly pouring into others. At some point, you'll find that there's nothing left to give. And that's when the emotional toll becomes evident. Overgiving also creates an unhealthy dynamic in relationship. When you continually give more than you receive, the balance becomes skewed. You begin to attract people who rely on you but never offer anything in return. This dynamic can leave you feeling stuck, trapped in a cycle where you're constantly giving but never receiving the same level of care and attention. It can also breed feelings of resentment and frustration as you begin to feel like you're being taken advantage of. But here's the key to breaking this cycle: self-respect. When you respect yourself enough to set boundaries, to say no when you need to, you stop overgiving. You start giving with intention, with discernment. You give because you want to, not because you feel obligated. And when you do that, your kindness becomes a source of strength, not weakness. Setting boundaries is a crucial step in protecting your emotional well-being. Boundaries are a form of self-care, and they are essential for maintaining healthy relationships. When you establish clear boundaries, you're telling others that you value your time, energy, and emotions. You're telling them that you will not give more than you have to offer, and that your kindness is a gift that deserves to be treated with respect. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear rejection or conflict. They worry that if they don't give everything, they will be seen as selfish or uncaring. But the truth is, setting boundaries is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and for others. When you set boundaries, you allow room for deeper connections, ones that are built on mutual respect and understanding. In relationships, kindness should flow both ways. It's not about giving everything you have to someone, only to be left feeling empty. It's about creating a balance, giving when you can, receiving when you need to. The more you practice this balance, the stronger and more fulfilling your relationships will become. Remember, true kindness doesn't come from a place of neediness. It comes from a place of strength, a place where you understand your own worth and your own needs. When you give from this place, your kindness has power. It has purpose. And it makes a real difference in the lives of those who truly appreciate it. So, when you find yourself overgiving, ask yourself, what do I need right now? Is your kindness being met with the same respect and care that you're giving? Are you sacrificing your well-being for the sake of someone else? If the answer is no, then it's time to reassess where your kindness is going. It's time to stop giving away your energy to people who don't deserve it and start investing in relationships where your kindness will be honored and reciprocated. In the end, you have the power to decide how much kindness you give and to whom. You don't have to give everything you have. You don't have to lose yourself in the process. By setting healthy boundaries and protecting your emotional energy, you can continue to be kind without depleting yourself. And when you do, your kindness will become a source of strength, a source of connection, and a source of true fulfillment. Self-respect is a cornerstone of personal well-being. Without it, it becomes nearly impossible to set healthy boundaries or maintain your emotional balance. When we respect ourselves, we value our time, our energy, and our emotional health. We begin to recognize our own worth, and this awareness shapes the way we interact with the world around us. It allows us to give kindness where it will be respected and appreciated, not taken advantage of. At its core, self-respect is about understanding that you are worthy of love, care, and kindness. You don't need to prove your worth through endless giving or self-sacrifice. You are enough as you are. And when you truly internalize this belief, it changes everything. You stop seeking validation through your actions or the approval of others, sinking yourself to the point of salvation. You prove yourself worthy, everything becomes easy. Kindness is ours. Instead, you begin to give from a place of abundance, not scarcity. You give because you want to, not because you need to be recognized or accepted. Many people struggle with self-respect because they've been conditioned to believe that their worth is tied to what they do for others. Society tells us that we must constantly be doing, constantly be giving in order to be loved and valued. But this is a lie. Self-respect comes from within. It's about recognizing your intrinsic worth, your value as a person, regardless of your actions. When you don't have self-respect, you start to overgive, overextend yourself, and lose sight of your own needs. You give, but never stop to ask if it's actually benefiting you. This is the root of burnout and emotional exhaustion. You pour so much of yourself into others that there's nothing left for you. And over time, you begin to feel resentful, not just toward others, but toward yourself for allowing it to happen. This cycle only ends when you decide that your well-being matters as much as anyone else's. Self-respect allows you to see that you deserve the same kindness, care, and attention that you so freely give to others. It teaches you that you don't have to earn love or validation through self-sacrifice. You are worthy of respect simply because you exist. And when you understand this on a deep level, it becomes easier to say no when something or someone doesn't align with your values or your needs. The ability to say no is one of the most powerful tools you can have in maintaining self-respect. Saying no doesn't mean you're being unkind or selfish. It means you're protecting your own peace, your own energy, and your own emotional well-being. Saying no is an act of self-love. It's a reminder that your time, your energy, and your emotions are valuable. When you say no to something that drains you or doesn't honor your worth, you're saying yes to yourself. The most difficult part of saying no is overcoming the fear of disappointing others. We've all been there. We worry about how others will react, whether they'll be upset or if we'll lose their approval. But the truth is, when we say yes to everything, we risk losing ourselves. And that's the real cost. The people who truly respect and value you will understand that you have boundaries. They will respect your decision to protect your own well-being. One of the greatest myths about kindness and generosity is that it must come at the expense of your own happiness. We've been conditioned to believe that if we aren't constantly helping others, constantly doing for others, we aren't being kind. But kindness that drains you isn't kindness at all. It's a form of self-neglect. And when you neglect yourself, you start to lose your sense of purpose, your joy, and your passion. You become like an empty vessel, constantly pouring out but never refilling. When you begin to practice self-respect, you change the dynamic of your relationships. You stop overgiving and start giving intentionally. You set boundaries not out of fear or anger, but out of love and respect for yourself. You begin to recognize that your kindness is a precious gift. It's not meant to be squandered on those who take it for granted. Instead, it should be reserved for those who appreciate it, who honor you, and who reciprocate it in meaningful ways. Self-respect also helps you recognize toxic relationships. These are the relationships where you give and give, but never receive in return. These are the people who drain you emotionally, who take your kindness for granted, and who never show the same level of respect that you offer. The danger of staying in these relationships is that you begin to believe that you are not worthy of anything better. You start to feel like it's normal to give endlessly without receiving anything in return. But self-respect helps you see the truth. You deserve better. You deserve to be in relationships that honor your value and your worth. You deserve to give and receive in equal measure. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, not bring you down. And when you recognize this, it becomes easier to walk away from toxic dynamics and set healthier boundaries. Building self-respect takes time, but it's one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It requires you to stop looking outside yourself for validation and start looking within. It requires you to acknowledge your worth and treat yourself with the same care and kindness that you offer to others. And when you do, you'll find that your relationships improve, your emotional well-being improves, and your life begins to feel more fulfilling. One of the most important things to remember is that self-respect isn't about being perfect. It's not about never making mistakes or always having your life together. Self-respect is about honoring who you are, flaws and all. It's about accepting yourself, even when you're not at your best, and choosing to treat yourself with kindness and care regardless. When you practice self-respect, you stop looking for approval from others. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself or earn love through your actions. You begin to see that you are worthy of love simply because you exist. And this shift in mindset changes everything. It allows you to give from a place of abundance, not scarcity. It allows you to show up for others without losing yourself in the process. So, start today. Practice self-respect, set healthy boundaries, recognize your worth, and give your kindness to those who truly deserve it. When you do, you'll find that your relationships become more fulfilling, your energy becomes more balanced, and your sense of purpose becomes clearer. Your kindness will no longer drain you. Instead, it will empower you. And that's the true power of self-respect. When you start to understand the importance of self-respect, it becomes clear that recognizing your own value is one of the most important steps in protecting your emotional well-being. Too often, we look to others for validation, seeking approval or affirmation to feel worthy. But true strength comes when we recognize that our value is inherent. It's not something that can be earned, bought, or taken away by anyone. Your worth is already inside you. We are often conditioned from an early age to tie our worth to external factors, our achievements, our appearance, or our relationships. We are taught that we must prove ourselves in some way to be worthy of love, respect, and kindness. And this belief leads to constant striving, constant seeking, and an endless chase for validation from others. But this mindset traps us in a cycle of insecurity and doubt. To truly understand your value, you must stop measuring your worth by external standards. Your value is not defined by what you do for others, how much you achieve, or how many people like you. It's not tied to your accomplishments or your status. It's tied to the simple fact that you exist. You have inherent worth just by being human. Recognizing this truth is the first step toward living a more fulfilling life, one where you no longer feel the need to overextend yourself or give away your energy in search of external validation. The more you understand your value, the less likely you are to give to others at the expense of your own well-being. When you truly believe that you deserve respect, kindness, and love, you begin to set boundaries that protect your energy. You stop overgiving not because you don't care, but because you realize that your time and energy are valuable. And when you understand that you deserve to be treated with respect, it becomes easier to choose where to invest your time, your kindness, and your care. Recognizing your value is not about arrogance or selfishness. It's about knowing that you are enough just as you are. It's about giving yourself the same level of kindness and respect that you would offer to others. When you begin to honor your own worth, you become more empowered to say no to situations and people that drain you. You start making choices that honor your well-being, and that's when you begin to attract the right people and the right opportunities into your life. The struggle many people face is that they don't truly believe they deserve the best. They think they need to prove themselves before they can receive love, respect, or kindness. But the truth is, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You already have everything you need inside you. The more you embrace this truth, the more peace and clarity you will find. You'll stop seeking approval and start living authentically in alignment with your true self. When you start to recognize your value, it shifts your mindset in profound ways. You begin to see the world differently. Instead of looking to others for validation, you become more focused on your own internal compass. You start making decisions based on what feels right for you, not based on what you think others want from you. This shift in mindset empowers you to live a life that is authentic and true to who you are, rather than one that is shaped by the expectations of others. But recognizing your value also means accepting that not everyone will appreciate you. Not everyone will understand your worth. And that's okay. It's not your job to make others see your value. Your value is not dependent on how others perceive you. When you truly understand this, it becomes easier to let go of the need for external validation. You stop seeking approval and start living for yourself. This shift in perspective also changes how you approach your relationships. When you understand your own value, you stop settling for relationships that don't honor you. You stop giving your time and energy to people who don't appreciate you. Instead, you seek out connections that are built on mutual respect and understanding. You surround yourself with people who recognize your worth and treat you accordingly. By learning to recognize your value, you also learn to recognize the value of others. You begin to see that everyone has unique qualities and strengths, and that true connection comes from mutual respect. When you understand your value, you can give without feeling depleted. You can offer kindness, compassion, and love without expecting anything in return. And that's when kindness becomes a powerful force for good, not just for others, but for yourself as well. There's a powerful truth in recognizing your own worth. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop sacrificing your peace, your happiness, and your well-being for the sake of others. You begin to prioritize your own needs and desires without feeling guilty or selfish. And in doing so, you become more aligned with your true purpose in life. It's important to remember that recognizing your value is an ongoing process. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes time, patience, and consistent effort. But as you begin to shift your mindset, you'll notice that your relationships, your sense of self, and your overall well-being begin to improve. You'll start making choices that honor who you are, and you'll stop giving your time and energy to people or situations that don't deserve it. The more you recognize your value, the more you'll find that you attract the right people into your life, those who see you for who you truly are and who value you in return. You'll stop overgiving and start giving with intention, knowing that your kindness is precious and deserves to be reciprocated. And when you give from a place of self-respect, your kindness will have a lasting impact, not only on others, but on yourself as well. So take a moment today to reflect on your value. Acknowledge your worth. Understand that you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Your value is intrinsic. And when you recognize this truth, everything in your life will begin to shift. You'll begin to make choices that reflect your worth, and you'll start living a life that is aligned with your true self. Your kindness will flow freely, but it will no longer deplete you. Instead, it will empower you and inspire those around you. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful acts of self-respect. It is not about being rigid or unfriendly. It is about protecting your peace and emotional well-being. Boundaries are essential in every relationship, whether personal or professional. They serve as a shield that guards your energy and ensures that you do not lose yourself in the process of caring for others. When you fail to set boundaries, you risk becoming overwhelmed and emotionally drained. Without boundaries, your time, energy, and resources are up for grabs, and this can quickly lead to burnout. Your needs, desires, and well-being are pushed to the side as you focus on meeting the demands of others. This cycle can be exhausting and ultimately leaves you feeling resentful. Boundaries help you avoid this emotional depletion. They allow you to give from a place of strength and not out of obligation. One of the biggest challenges in setting boundaries is the fear of disappointing others. We have been conditioned to believe that saying no is selfish or unkind. But in reality, setting boundaries is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. It's about respecting yourself enough to prioritize your own needs. It's about acknowledging that your time, energy, and emotions are precious and that you have the right to protect them. When you start setting boundaries, it's important to remember that they don't have to be harsh or dramatic. You don't need to announce them to the world or make grand statements. Boundaries can be simple, clear, and respectful. You can say no without feeling guilty. You can take time for yourself without justifying it. You can choose not to engage in situations or relationships that drain you, and that is okay. Setting boundaries also means understanding your limits. It means recognizing when you are at capacity and when you need to step back. It means listening to your body and your emotions and honoring your need for rest, solitude, or personal space. If you don't acknowledge your limits, you risk pushing yourself beyond what you can handle, and this can lead to emotional and physical exhaustion. By setting boundaries, you take control of your life. You stop allowing others to dictate how much of yourself you give away. You stop living for others' approval and start living for your own peace and fulfillment. You become more selective with where you invest your time and energy, and in doing so, you begin to surround yourself with people and experiences that truly align with your values and goals. It's also important to understand that not everyone will respect your boundaries. Some people may push back, criticize, or try to manipulate you into changing your decisions. But this is where the strength of self-respect comes into play. When you truly understand your worth and the importance of setting boundaries, you are less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others. You no longer feel the need to justify your boundaries or seek permission to honor them. You trust in your decision and you stand firm in your commitment to protecting your well-being. Sometimes setting boundaries may require you to let go of toxic relationships or situations that drain you. These are the people who demand your time and energy without giving anything in return. These are the situations where you constantly give but never receive, and where your emotional needs are consistently ignored. Letting go can be difficult, especially if you have invested a lot of time and energy into these relationships. But the truth is, holding on to these toxic dynamics only keeps you stuck in a cycle of emotional depletion. When you set boundaries, you allow space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships to grow. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no to others. It's also about saying yes to yourself. It's about making decisions that honor your values and your needs. It's about recognizing that your happiness and well-being are just as important as anyone else's. When you say yes to yourself, you stop sacrificing your own peace for the sake of others. You stop pretending to be something you're not in order to please others. Instead, you become more authentic, more aligned with your true self, and more empowered to live the life you truly desire. One of the greatest rewards of setting boundaries is the increased sense of self-worth it brings. When you set boundaries, you send a clear message to yourself and to others that you value your time, your energy, and your well-being. This simple act reinforces your belief in your own worth. It reminds you that you deserve to be treated with respect and that you are worthy of peace, rest, and joy. When you practice setting healthy boundaries, you create a life that is more balanced and fulfilling. You stop feeling overwhelmed by the demands of others, and you start feeling more in control of your own life. You are able to give from a place of abundance, not exhaustion. You are able to show up as your best self in all areas of your life because you are no longer depleted by the needs of others. Setting boundaries also improves your relationships. When you set clear boundaries, you teach others how to treat you. You show them that you are not a doormat to be walked over. You are someone who deserves respect and consideration. And when others respect your boundaries, it creates a more harmonious, balanced dynamic. You attract people into your life who honor your needs and value your presence. But setting boundaries also requires you to be honest with yourself about what you want and need. It's not always easy to identify your limits, especially if you've been used to giving without asking for anything in return. But once you start listening to yourself, you'll begin to understand what truly matters to you. You'll know when you're giving too much and when it's time to take a step back. The process of setting boundaries is ongoing. As your life changes, so too will your boundaries. What worked for you in one phase of life may no longer serve you in another, and that's okay. Boundaries are fluid and adaptable. The key is to always be attuned to your own needs and to never lose sight of your worth. By consistently setting and respecting your boundaries, you will continue to honor yourself and protect your emotional well-being. So take a moment to reflect on your own boundaries. Are they clear? Are they being respected? Are you giving too much of yourself to people or situations that drain you? If the answer is yes, it's time to make a change. Start setting boundaries that protect your peace and well-being. Remember, setting boundaries is not selfish, it's self-care. You are worthy of respect, kindness, and balance in your life. Saying no is one of the most powerful tools you have in maintaining your emotional and mental well-being. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you are used to saying yes to everything. But learning to say no is crucial for protecting your energy, your time, and your happiness. When you say no, you are affirming your worth and prioritizing your needs over the demands of others. Saying no is not a sign of weakness or selfishness. It's a sign of strength, self-respect, and self-awareness. In a world where people are constantly vying for your attention and time, saying no can be incredibly difficult. We live in a society that values busyness, productivity, and being constantly available. There is an unspoken pressure to say yes to every request, whether it's from a colleague, a friend, or a family member. But what happens when you say yes to everything? You end up stretched too thin, exhausted, and overwhelmed. You begin to lose yourself in the process, giving so much of yourself that there's nothing left for you. Learning to say no is not about being rude or dismissive. It's about being mindful of your capacity and recognizing that your time and energy are limited. It's about understanding that every yes you give to something or someone is a yes taken away from yourself. Every time you agree to do something you don't want to do, you are essentially sacrificing your own well-being. And over time, this constant overcommitting can lead to burnout, resentment, and frustration. But when you say no, you are honoring your own needs. You are recognizing that your time and energy are precious and that you have the right to choose how you spend them. Saying no allows you to preserve your emotional and mental resources, which is essential for maintaining a healthy and balanced life. It's important to remember that saying no does not make you a bad person. It simply means that you are taking responsibility for your own well-being. One of the most powerful aspects of saying no is that it enables you to say yes to what truly matters. When you start saying no to things that drain you or that don't align with your values, you create space for the things that are truly important to you. You create time for the people, activities, and goals that bring you joy and fulfillment. Saying no is not about rejecting others. It's about making room for your own growth and happiness. Many people fear that saying no will lead to conflict or disappointment. They worry that others will be upset or that they will be seen as selfish. But the truth is, saying no does not make you a bad person. In fact, it can strengthen your relationships and show others that you respect your own boundaries. When you say no with kindness and clarity, you are teaching others to respect your time and energy. You are modeling healthy behavior and showing that you value yourself. Saying no also helps you avoid unnecessary stress. When you commit to things you don't want to do, you often carry the weight of that commitment with you. You feel anxious, resentful, or overwhelmed, and this can take a toll on your mental and emotional health. By saying no, you release that burden. You free yourself from the pressure of trying to meet everyone's expectations and start living according to your own priorities. It's important to understand that you don't owe anyone an explanation when you say no. You are not required to justify your decision or to make excuses. Your no is enough. If someone questions you, it's okay to simply say, "I'm not able to do that right now," or "That's not something I can commit to." You do not need to explain yourself further. Remember, your time and energy are yours to manage, and you are under no obligation to explain why you choose to say no. Learning to say no also means letting go of the fear of disappointing others. So many of us say yes because we want to be liked or because we fear rejection. But when you say yes out of fear or obligation, you are not being authentic. You are not honoring your true self. Saying no, on the other hand, is an act of self-respect. It's a way of saying, "I matter too." It's a reminder that your needs are just as important as anyone else's. One of the reasons we often struggle to say no is because we fear the consequences. We fear that people will think we are selfish, rude, or uncaring. But the truth is, saying no often leads to more respect from others. When you say no, you are setting a clear boundary. You are showing others that you are not a doormat to be walked over. You are teaching them that you have limits and that you are worthy of respect. This strengthens your relationships and creates a healthier dynamic based on mutual understanding and respect. Saying no also means you are practicing self-care. Self-care is not just about taking bubble baths or going to the spa. It's about setting boundaries and saying no to things that drain you. It's about prioritizing your own needs and making sure that you are not overextending yourself. Self-care means listening to your body and your emotions and responding to what they need. It's about recognizing when you are at your limit and choosing to say no, rather than pushing yourself beyond what you can handle. As you begin to say no more often, you'll notice a shift in how you feel. You will start to feel more in control of your life. You will feel less overwhelmed and more focused on what truly matters. Saying no allows you to take charge of your time and energy, and this gives you a sense of empowerment and freedom. You'll begin to notice that the more you say no, the more space you create for the things that bring you joy, peace, and fulfillment. The act of saying no is a powerful affirmation of your self-worth. It's a declaration that you respect yourself enough to put your needs first. It's a reminder that you have the right to say no without feeling guilty or selfish. When you say no, you are reinforcing your boundaries and making it clear that you value your time, energy, and well-being. So the next time you feel the pressure to say yes, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself if saying yes aligns with your values and if it is something that will bring you joy or fulfillment. If the answer is no, then honor that. Saying no is not only a gift to yourself, but also to those around you. By saying no, you show that you respect yourself, and in turn, you encourage others to respect you as well. Your self-worth is the foundation of your happiness, your relationships, and the quality of your life. It shapes the way you interact with the world and influences how others treat you. When you understand and embrace your own value, you become more resilient, more confident, and more capable of making decisions that align with your true self. Self-worth is not something that comes from external validation. It's something you build from within. It's the belief that you are deserving of love, respect, and happiness simply because you exist. For many of us, the concept of self-worth can be difficult to grasp. We live in a world that often tells us that our value is tied to what we accomplish, how we look, or how others perceive us. But this external validation is fleeting and unreliable. If you rely solely on external factors to define your worth, you will always feel uncertain. You will constantly chase approval and validation, and in the process, you will lose sight of your true value. True self-worth comes from within. It is the understanding that you are enough just as you are. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to achieve a certain level of success or meet a specific set of standards to be worthy of love and respect. Your worth is inherent and unchanging regardless of your circumstances. When you begin to internalize this truth, everything else in your life starts to shift. One of the first steps in building self-worth is learning to let go of negative self-talk. So often we are our own harshest critics. We judge ourselves based on our perceived shortcomings and mistakes. We dwell on our failures and amplify our weaknesses. But the truth is, everyone has flaws and everyone makes mistakes. These things do not diminish your worth. In fact, they are a part of being human. When you embrace your imperfections, you release the need for perfectionism and begin to appreciate yourself for who you truly are. Building self-worth also means learning to accept compliments and praise graciously. For many people, accepting compliments can be uncomfortable. We may feel embarrassed, unworthy, or as though we are being boastful. But refusing to accept compliments is a form of self-rejection. When someone acknowledges your value, accept it with gratitude. You are worthy of praise and recognition, and by accepting compliments, you affirm your own worth and teach others to do the same. Another important aspect of building self-worth is setting boundaries. As we've already discussed, boundaries are essential for protecting your energy and emotional well-being. When you set boundaries, you are showing yourself that you respect your own needs. You are telling yourself that you are worthy of time, space, and peace. Setting healthy boundaries allows you to honor your self-worth and prevent others from diminishing it. When you put yourself first, you teach others how to treat you. You teach them to respect your value and to recognize that you are not someone to be taken for granted. Self-worth is also closely tied to self-care. When you prioritize your own well-being, you send a powerful message to yourself. You matter. Taking care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally is not selfish, it's necessary. Self-care is a way of reinforcing your own worth and acknowledging that you deserve to feel good, to be healthy, and to experience joy. Whether it's getting enough sleep, eating nourishing food, or taking time to relax, self-care is a reminder that you are deserving of love and care, just like anyone else. One of the most important things you can do to build self-worth is to stop comparing yourself to others. We live in a world where comparison is rampant. Social media constantly bombards us with images of other people's success, beauty, and happiness. But comparing your life to someone else's is not only unfair to yourself, it's also unproductive. Every person's journey is unique, and your worth is not defined by what others have or what they do. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you free yourself from the cycle of self-judgment and start to focus on your own growth and potential. Another key element in building self-worth is forgiving yourself. We all make mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can be difficult to move past. But holding on to guilt or shame only diminishes your sense of self-worth. Forgiveness allows you to let go of the past and move forward with a sense of freedom. When you forgive yourself, you release the weight of regret and give yourself permission to grow and evolve. You acknowledge that mistakes are a part of life and they do not define you. What defines you is your ability to learn, grow, and move forward. One of the most powerful ways to build self-worth is by practicing gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. It reminds you of the abundance in your life, and it helps you recognize your own value. When you practice gratitude, you start to see the good in yourself and your life. You begin to acknowledge your strengths, accomplishments, and the positive qualities that make you unique. Gratitude reinforces your sense of worth by helping you appreciate the present moment and all that you have already achieved. Building self-worth also involves aligning your actions with your values. When you live in accordance with your core beliefs and values, you honor yourself. You demonstrate that you are worthy of living a life that reflects who you truly are. When your actions align with your values, you feel more authentic, more confident, and more at peace with yourself. You stop seeking approval from others because you are living in alignment with your own truth. As you begin to build your self-worth, you will start to notice changes in how you interact with the world. You will feel more confident in your decisions, more at ease with your choices, and more comfortable in your own skin. You will stop allowing others to diminish your value, and you will stop tolerating disrespect. You will understand that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness, and you will start to make choices that reflect that belief. Your self-worth is the foundation upon which you build your life. It influences every decision you make and shapes the relationships you form. When you understand your own value, you become empowered to live a life that is authentic, fulfilling, and meaningful. Building self-worth is a journey, but it is one that is worth taking. Every step you take toward recognizing your own value brings you closer to living a life that is true to who you are. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences we can face, and it often becomes the fear that holds us back from pursuing our true desires. It stops us from taking risks, making bold decisions, and showing up as our authentic selves. Fear of rejection can limit our potential and prevent us from experiencing the richness of life. Yet, it is essential to recognize that rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a part of life, a stepping stone on the path to growth, success, and self-discovery. The fear of rejection often stems from the belief that our value is dependent on the approval of others. We worry that if we are rejected, it means we are not good enough, not lovable enough, or not capable enough. But this belief is flawed. Rejection does not diminish who you are as a person. It doesn't change your worth. Rejection is simply a response from others based on their perspectives, needs, and circumstances, not an indictment of your character or abilities. When you understand that rejection is not personal, you begin to free yourself from the grip of fear. You can approach life with confidence, knowing that your self-worth is not dependent on others' opinions. Rejection is an inevitable part of life, and the sooner you accept that fact, the sooner you can move past it and continue to pursue your goals. It's important to remember that rejection is not always a reflection of your abilities. Sometimes the reasons for rejection have nothing to do with you at all. People may reject you because of their own insecurities, their own limitations, or because they are not in a place to appreciate what you have to offer. Rejection is not a commentary on your value, but rather on the compatibility between you and the person, opportunity, or situation involved. The key to overcoming the fear of rejection is to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing rejection as a negative outcome, start seeing it as a form of redirection. Rejection can be a blessing in disguise, guiding you away from situations, people, or opportunities that are not aligned with your true purpose. Each rejection clears the path for something better to come along. If you can embrace rejection as a learning experience and an opportunity for growth, it will lose its power to hold you back. One way to overcome the fear of rejection is by reframing the way you view failure. Most people fear failure as much as they fear rejection. But failure and rejection are not the end of the road. They are simply stepping stones to success. Every successful person has faced rejection at some point in their life. It is not the rejection that defines them, but how they respond to it. They choose to keep going, to learn from the experience, and to use it as motivation to keep striving toward their goals. To shift your mindset, start seeing rejection as an opportunity to learn and grow. When you face rejection, ask yourself what you can learn from the experience. What can you do differently next time? What strengths or qualities do you need to develop? Rejection provides valuable feedback that can help you improve and refine your approach. When you adopt this mindset, you stop fearing rejection and start embracing it as a necessary part of the journey towards success. Another way to overcome the fear of rejection is to focus on your own values and beliefs. When you are grounded in your own sense of self and have a clear understanding of your values, you are less likely to be shaken by rejection. You begin to understand that you don't need to please everyone or win everyone's approval. You are enough just as you are, and those who reject you are not rejecting your worth, they are simply not aligned with who you are. When you live authentically, rejection becomes less significant because you are no longer seeking validation from others. Building resilience in the face of rejection is also an essential part of overcoming the fear of rejection. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to keep going even when things don't go as planned. Rejection can be disheartening, but it does not have to stop you. The more you face rejection and continue moving forward, the stronger and more resilient you become. Over time, rejection will lose its power over you, and you will become more confident in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's also important to recognize that rejection is not always a reflection of your abilities or efforts. Sometimes timing plays a crucial role in whether you succeed or fail. You may be rejected not because you are unqualified or undeserving, but because the timing isn't right. The person or opportunity may not be in a position to receive what you have to offer. This doesn't mean you should stop trying or give up on your dreams. It simply means that the right opportunity will come at the right time. Another way to overcome the fear of rejection is to surround yourself with people who support and uplift you. Having a strong support system can help you build the confidence you need to take risks and face rejection. When you have people who believe in you, you are less likely to internalize rejection as a reflection of your worth. Instead, you will view rejection as a temporary setback and remain focused on your goals. It's also essential to practice self-compassion in the face of rejection. Be kind to yourself when you experience rejection. Acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them define you. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend going through a difficult time. Self-compassion helps you process rejection in a healthy way and allows you to move forward with a renewed sense of strength and determination. The fear of rejection can be paralyzing, but it doesn't have to control your life. When you understand that rejection is not personal and that it doesn't diminish your worth, you can move beyond the fear and pursue your goals with confidence. Rejection is simply a part of the journey. It's not something to fear, but something to embrace as an opportunity for growth, learning, and redirection. Every time you face rejection, you grow stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your true path. So, the next time you face rejection, remember that it is not the end. It is simply a stepping stone on your way to success. Holding on to things that no longer serve you can weigh you down, leaving you stuck in a cycle of pain, regret, and frustration. Whether it's a past relationship, a mistake you've made, or even a long-held belief that doesn't align with who you are now, letting go is essential for your growth and well-being. The act of release is not about forgetting or pretending that something never happened. It's about accepting what was, learning from it, and freeing yourself to move forward in life. Letting go is the key to emotional freedom and a crucial step in reclaiming your peace of mind. It's natural to hold on to things that are familiar, even when they hurt us. We may hold on to past relationships, memories, or expectations because they are what we know. We may be afraid of letting go because we fear the unknown, but the truth is, when we hold on to what no longer serves us, we limit ourselves. We block the flow of new opportunities and prevent ourselves from embracing the fullness of life. The first step in letting go is recognizing what you need to release. This might involve looking back at your life and reflecting on the things, people, or situations that are holding you back. Maybe it's a toxic relationship that drains your energy. Maybe it's a negative self-picture that keeps you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Or perhaps it's a past mistake or failure that you can't seem to move past. The key to letting go is acknowledging that these things no longer have a place in your life. They are no longer serving you, and holding on to them only prevents you from growing and moving forward. Once you identify what you need to release, the next step is to forgive, both others and yourself. Forgiveness is not about condoning someone's behavior or excusing a wrong that was done to you. It is about freeing yourself from the emotional burden of holding on to anger, resentment, or guilt. Forgiveness allows you to release the hold that the past has on you and to stop letting it dictate your present. By forgiving, you give yourself permission to heal, grow, and move forward. Forgiveness also involves forgiving yourself. We are often our harshest critics, holding on to guilt and regret for the mistakes we've made. But the truth is, mistakes are a natural part of life. They are opportunities for growth, learning, and self-improvement. When you hold on to guilt, you are allowing your past to define your future. By forgiving yourself, you take back control of your story and choose to move forward with a renewed sense of self-compassion and understanding. Letting go is also about releasing the need for control. So often we try to control every aspect of our lives, our relationships, our careers, our success. But the reality is, control is an illusion. There are many things beyond our control, and trying to control everything only creates stress, anxiety, and frustration. When you let go of the need to control, you open yourself up to the flow of life. You trust that things will unfold as they are meant to, and you allow yourself to be guided by your intuition and your values rather than by fear or the desire to control the outcome. The process of letting go also involves accepting change. Change can be uncomfortable and uncertain, but it is an inevitable part of life. Holding on to the past prevents you from embracing the present moment and the future that lies ahead. When you let go, you make space for new experiences, new opportunities, and new relationships. You allow yourself to evolve and grow in ways that you never imagined. Accepting change is an essential part of the letting go process, as it allows you to move forward with a sense of openness and possibility. One of the biggest challenges in letting go is overcoming the fear of loss. We fear that if we let go of a relationship, a dream, or a piece of ourselves, we will lose something essential. But in reality, letting go is not about losing. It's about creating space for something better. When you release what no longer serves you, you make room for new opportunities, new growth, and new connections. The fear of loss is often rooted in the belief that we cannot find something better, but the truth is, life is constantly evolving. And when we let go, we align ourselves with the natural flow of abundance that the universe offers. Another important aspect of letting go is detaching from expectations. We often hold on to expectations about how things should be, how others should behave, and how our lives should unfold. When we are attached to these expectations, we set ourselves up for disappointment and frustration. Letting go of expectations allows us to release the pressure we place on ourselves and others. It opens us up to accepting things as they are and appreciating life in its current form, rather than constantly striving for something that may never come. Letting go also involves practicing mindfulness. When we are mindful, we are fully present in the moment, without judgment or attachment. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. It helps us recognize when we are holding on to something that no longer serves us and gives us the clarity to let go. Through mindfulness, we can cultivate a sense of peace and acceptance that makes it easier to release what no longer aligns with our goals, values, and well-being. As you begin to let go, you will notice that your emotional and mental energy begins to shift. You will feel lighter, freer, and more at peace with yourself. Letting go creates space for new beginnings, new possibilities, and new ways of thinking. It allows you to stop being weighed down by the past and start embracing the present. You will find that when you let go, you attract more positive energy into your life. The more you release, the more you make room for things that align with your true self and your higher purpose. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process. Life is constantly changing, and there will always be things, people, or situations that you need to release in order to move forward. The key is to embrace the process and trust that every release creates space for growth, healing, and new opportunities. The more you practice letting go, the easier it becomes. You begin to trust that each release is leading you closer to the life you are meant to live. The act of letting go is one of the most empowering things you can do for yourself. It allows you to break free from the past and embrace the future with open arms. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you create the space to be who you truly are, to pursue what you truly want, and to live the life you truly deserve. So let go of the things that weigh you down and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. Self-worth is the foundation upon which we build our lives. It is the belief in our own value and the understanding that we deserve to be happy, successful, and loved. Unfortunately, many people struggle with low self-worth, which can hold them back from reaching their full potential. When we don't believe in ourselves, we limit what we think we deserve. We settle for less than we are capable of. And we let fear and self-doubt control our action. Building self-worth is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong journey that requires self-compassion, courage, and a willingness to change. To begin building self-worth, you must first recognize that your value is not defined by external circumstances. It is not determined by the approval of others, your achievements, or the way you look. Your self-worth is inherent. It is a birthright that no one can take from you. When you understand this, you begin to free yourself from the need for external validation. You stop seeking approval from others and start focusing on your own inner strength and value. A key component of building self-worth is learning to love yourself. Self-love is not about arrogance or narcissism. It is about accepting yourself as you are, flaws and all, and recognizing your worth without needing anyone else to tell you. When you love yourself, you honor your needs, your feelings, and your boundaries. You treat yourself with kindness, respect, and compassion. Self-love is the foundation upon which confidence and self-worth are built. One of the biggest challenges to building self-worth is overcoming negative self-talk. We all have an inner voice, but for many, that voice is filled with criticism, doubt, and negativity. We tell ourselves that we are not good enough, not smart enough, or not worthy of success. These thoughts are not true. They are simply the product of fear, insecurity, and past experiences. To build self-worth, you must challenge these negative thoughts and replace them with empowering beliefs. Start by becoming aware of the thoughts that undermine your confidence. Notice when you criticize yourself or doubt your abilities and choose to replace those thoughts with positive affirmations. Affirmations are powerful tools for rewiring your brain and shifting your mindset. When you repeat positive statements about yourself, you begin to internalize those beliefs and make them a part of your identity. Affirmations like, "I am worthy of success," "I am capable of achieving my goals," and "I deserve to be happy" can help you overcome self-doubt and build a stronger sense of self-worth. The more you practice these affirmations, the more natural they will become, and the stronger your belief in your own value will grow. Another important aspect of building self-worth is setting healthy boundaries. When you value yourself, you understand the importance of protecting your time, energy, and emotions. Boundaries allow you to prioritize your needs and avoid situations that drain or disrespect you. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish. It is about taking care of yourself so that you can show up as your best self in the world. When you set boundaries, you send a message to yourself and others that you value your well-being and are not willing to settle for less than you deserve. In addition to setting boundaries, it's essential to surround yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with can either lift you up or bring you down. When you are surrounded by people who support and uplift you, It becomes easier to believe in your own worth. Positive relationships provide a sense of validation and encouragement that help you stay confident and focused on your goals. On the other hand, toxic relationships that undermine your confidence or make you feel less than can drain your energy and hinder your growth. Choose to surround yourself with people who see your potential and encourage you to be the best version of yourself. Building self-worth also involves taking action toward your goals. When you set and achieve goals, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and deserving of success. Each step you take toward your goals is a victory that builds your confidence and strengthens your sense of self-worth. The more you take action, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming challenges and achieving your dreams. This momentum helps you break free from self-doubt and step into your full potential. It's also important to recognize that building self-worth is not about perfection. We all make mistakes, face setbacks, and experience failures. These things do not diminish our worth. In fact, they are often the very experiences that help us grow and become stronger. When you embrace your imperfections and view failures as opportunities to learn, you create a healthier relationship with yourself. You stop seeing mistakes as evidence of your inadequacy and start seeing them as part of your journey toward success. Self-worth is deeply tied to your ability to practice self-compassion. When you make a mistake or experience a setback, it's easy to be hard on yourself. But self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend going through a difficult time. Instead of beating yourself up, practice self-compassion by acknowledging your feelings, forgiving yourself, and moving forward with a positive mindset. The more you practice self-compassion, the more you build resilience and confidence in your ability to handle life's challenges. Building self-worth is a continuous process that requires patience and consistency. It is not something that happens overnight, but with dedication and effort, it can be cultivated over time. As you work on building your self-worth, you will notice a shift in how you perceive yourself and the world around you. You will begin to make choices that align with your values and desires, and you will start to attract opportunities and relationships that reflect your belief in your own value. Remember, your self-worth is not dependent on anyone else's opinion or validation. It is something that comes from within. When you believe in your own value, you stop seeking approval from others and start creating the life you truly deserve. You begin to live with confidence, knowing that you are worthy of all the good things life has to offer. So take the time to nurture your self-worth, to love yourself, and to believe in your own potential. When you do, you will unlock a world of possibilities and opportunities that were always available to you. Perseverance is a powerful force. It is the ability to continue moving forward even when the path is difficult, uncertain, or filled with obstacles. Life often tests our resolve. It throws challenges our way, and sometimes it feels as though the world is against us. But it is during these times when everything seems to be falling apart that our true strength is revealed. Perseverance is the key that unlocks the door to success. It is the one trait that can carry us through the toughest moments and help us achieve things that once seemed impossible. Every journey, no matter how successful, is filled with setbacks and hardships. The road to greatness is never a straight line. It is full of twists, turns, and unexpected bumps. Many people give up when faced with these challenges. They get discouraged, lose confidence, and abandon their dreams. But the ones who succeed, the ones who achieve greatness, are the ones who refuse to quit no matter how difficult the journey may become. The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Every failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. It is a lesson that helps us become stronger and more resilient. The difference between those who succeed and those who give up is their response to failure. While some see failure as an end, others see it as a stepping stone to greater things. They understand that setbacks are temporary and that the only way to truly fail is to stop trying. One of the biggest reasons people give up is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But fear is just a feeling, and feelings are temporary. It's important to acknowledge fear, but not let it control your actions. When you feel afraid, remember that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to move forward despite. Every successful person has faced fear at some point, but they chose to persevere anyway. Perseverance is also about having a clear vision and staying focused on your goals. When the going gets tough, it can be easy to lose sight of why you started in the first place. But it is in these moments of doubt that your vision becomes most important. Your vision is the fuel that keeps you going even when the road is dark and uncertain. It is the reminder of why you're doing this, the purpose behind your efforts. When you keep your vision front and center, you become less focused on the obstacles and more focused on the outcome. Your determination strengthens, and you find the strength to keep going no matter what. One of the most powerful aspects of perseverance is the ability to maintain a positive mindset. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It means choosing to focus on solutions rather than problems, on opportunities rather than limitations. A positive mindset allows you to approach challenges with optimism, believing that there is always a way forward, no matter how difficult things may seem. When you approach obstacles with a positive attitude, you are more likely to find creative solutions and take the necessary actions to overcome them. Another key aspect of perseverance is resilience, the ability to bounce back after setbacks. Resilience is built over time through experience and the consistent practice of perseverance. It is not something that is developed overnight, but rather through the small, everyday actions that show your commitment to your goals. Resilience is what keeps you going when things don't go as planned, when you face rejection, or when the world seems to be working against you. Resilient people don't dwell on failures. They learn from them, adjust their approach, and keep moving forward. They understand that every setback is an opportunity to grow, and they use those challenges as stepping stones to greater success. But it's not just about facing challenges head on. Perseverance also requires patience. Many people want instant results. We live in a world where everything is expected to happen quickly: fast food, fast internet, instant gratification. But true success takes time. It takes consistent effort, day after day, no matter how small the steps may seem. Perseverance is about sticking with something for the long haul, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It's about having the patience to trust the process, knowing that with each step you're getting closer to your goal. A major part of perseverance is also learning how to handle criticism and rejection. When you're pursuing a goal, not everyone will support you. Some people will doubt your abilities, criticize your efforts, or tell you that your dreams are unrealistic. But it's important to remember that their opinions do not define you. Every successful person has faced criticism and rejection at some point. What sets them apart is their ability to keep going regardless of what others say. The opinions of others are not a reflection of your worth or your potential. Keep moving forward, stay true to your vision, and don't let negativity derail your journey. Perseverance is also about consistency. It's not enough to work hard for a short period of time and then give up when things get tough. Success requires sustained effort over time. It's the daily commitment to doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's the willingness to show up day after day and continue working toward your goals even when the results aren't immediate. This consistency is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Another important part of perseverance is learning to embrace discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. The greatest achievements come from pushing yourself beyond what feels easy or safe. When you step outside your comfort zone, you face new challenges and develop new skills. While discomfort can feel uncomfortable in the moment, it is often the key to achieving great things. The more you learn to embrace discomfort and push through it, the stronger you become and the closer you get to reaching your goals. Perseverance is a mindset that you can cultivate through practice. It requires discipline, resilience, and an unwavering belief in yourself and your goals. The path to success is not easy, but it is worth it. The more you persevere, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming anything life throws your way. Every challenge is an opportunity to grow stronger, and every failure is a lesson that moves you one step closer to success. So the next time you face a challenge or obstacle, remember that perseverance is the key to unlocking your potential. Keep going, even when it feels impossible. Trust in yourself, stay focused on your vision, and keep moving forward. The rewards of perseverance are far greater than any temporary discomfort. When you don't give up, you show the world and yourself that you are capable of achieving greatness. One of the hardest things in life is learning to let go, whether it's letting go of past hurts, relationships, dreams, or expectations. It can feel like you're giving up a part of yourself. However, letting go is not about losing something. It's about freeing yourself from things that no longer serve you. It's about making room for new possibilities, new growth, and new opportunities. The human mind tends to hold on tightly to the past. We dwell on mistakes, regret missed opportunities, and replay conversations in our heads wondering what could have been. We allow past experiences to shape our present and limit our future. But the truth is, holding on to these things only weighs us down. It keeps us stuck in a cycle of negativity, preventing us from moving forward. When you hold on to something that no longer serves you, whether it's a painful memory, an unhealthy relationship, or an outdated belief, you are giving it power over your present. You are allowing the past to dictate your future. But when you choose to let go, you take back your power. You reclaim your peace, your joy, and your potential. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the grip that the past has on you so you can live freely in the present. The process of letting go starts with acceptance. It begins with acknowledging that some things are beyond your control. You can't change the past. You can't undo mistakes, and you can't force someone to change. Acceptance means understanding that you did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. It's about forgiving yourself and others for the things you cannot change and choosing to move forward with a lighter heart. But letting go is not just about releasing past pain or regret. It's also about letting go of expectations. Often we hold on to expectations about how things should be. We expect relationships to turn out a certain way, careers to follow a specific path, or our lives to go according to a predetermined plan. When things don't go as expected, it's easy to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry. But life is rarely predictable. The more we cling to rigid expectations, the more we set ourselves up for disappointment. Letting go of expectations means embracing the uncertainty of life. It's about trusting that things will unfold as they are meant to, even if it doesn't match our original plan. When you release the need for everything to be perfect or according to your vision, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You allow yourself to be surprised by the beauty of life's unpredictability and to appreciate the unexpected opportunities that come your way. Another part of letting go is learning to release control. As humans, we often feel the need to control our circumstances, our relationships, and our outcomes. We think that if we can control everything, we can avoid pain and guarantee success. But the reality is, control is an illusion. You cannot control everything, no matter how hard you try. Life is full of uncertainties, and no matter how prepared you are, things won't always go according to plan. Letting go of control is about surrendering to the flow of life. It's about trusting that things will work out, even when you can't see how. When you release the need to control every outcome, you open yourself up to the possibility of receiving exactly what you need, even if it doesn't look like what you expected. Surrendering control doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting that there are things beyond your power and trusting that life has a way of working itself out. Letting go also means giving up on the idea of perfection. So many people get caught up in the pursuit of perfection that they forget to appreciate what they already have. They strive for an ideal version of themselves, their lives, or their work, and in doing so, they lose sight of the beauty in the imperfections. Perfection is a myth. It doesn't exist, and striving for it only leads to frustration and burnout. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you open yourself up to embracing your flaws and celebrating your uniqueness. You realize that it's the imperfections that make you who you are, and they are worthy of love and acceptance. Part of letting go is also learning to trust yourself. We often hold on to things because we don't trust that we are capable of moving forward without them. We stay in unhealthy relationships, careers, or situations because we're afraid of change or of being alone. But when you trust in your own abilities and instincts, you realize that you are more than capable of creating the life you desire. You have everything within you to succeed and to thrive. Trusting yourself means believing in your strength and your ability to adapt and grow no matter what challenges come your way. Letting go is also a necessary part of personal growth. Growth requires change, and change is often uncomfortable. When we hold on to old habits, beliefs, or patterns, we prevent ourselves from evolving. We stay stuck in the same place, unable to move forward. But when we let go of what no longer serves us, we create space for growth. We give ourselves permission to explore new ideas, try new things, and become the best version of ourselves. Letting go is a process of shedding old skin and stepping into a new, more authentic version of who we are. This journey of letting go can be challenging. It requires courage and vulnerability. It means facing the pain of loss, uncertainty, and change. But it is also one of the most liberating things you can do. When you let go, you free yourself from the chains of the past and embrace the infinite possibilities of the future. You stop living in the shadows of what could have been and start creating the life you deserve. Remember, letting go is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process, a continuous act of releasing what no longer serves you and making room for what's to come. Every day you have the opportunity to choose what you hold on to and what you let go of. The more you practice letting go, the easier it becomes and the more peace you will find in your life. So, if there is something or someone in your life that is holding you back, it's time to let go. Let go of the past. Let go of expectations. Let go of control. And let go of perfection. Release the weight that is dragging you down and step into a future filled with endless possibilities. You are not defined by what you have held on to, but by what you choose to embrace in this moment. Let go and watch how your life transforms. Have you ever felt like you're being pulled in 1,000 different directions? Like your time, energy, and emotions are being consumed by others? This happens when we fail to set healthy boundaries in our lives. Boundaries are not walls that shut others out, but lines we draw to protect our well-being and ensure we have the space to grow. They are vital for our mental, emotional, and physical health. Boundaries are an essential part of any healthy relationship, whether it's with a partner, a friend, a family member, or even yourself. They define what we are willing to tolerate and what we are not. When we don't set clear boundaries, we risk feeling overwhelmed, resentful, and burned out. Setting boundaries is a form of self-care. It's a way of telling the world, I matter. My time, energy, and emotions matter. It's easy to fall into the trap of pleasing others or saying yes to everything. We don't want to disappoint people. We want to be liked, and we want to help. But constantly putting others' needs before your own can leave you feeling drained and unfulfilled. You may find yourself in situations where you stretch too thin, constantly giving but never receiving. When you don't set boundaries, you teach others that it's okay to take advantage of your time and energy. And while it's natural to want to help, it's crucial to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. Healthy boundaries are a way to protect your energy. They allow you to prioritize what truly matters, your own well-being and your own dreams. When you set boundaries, you create space for what you need, whether that's time for self-care, time for work, or time to pursue your passions. Boundaries help you balance your life, ensuring you have the energy to focus on what is important while also protecting you from people and situations that drain you. But boundaries are not just about saying no. They're also about saying yes to yourself. Saying no when necessary is a powerful act of self-respect. It's acknowledging that you have limits and that those limits deserve to be respected. However, boundaries also help you say yes to what aligns with your values and goals. By protecting your time and energy, you are making room for the things that matter most to you. You are saying yes to your dreams, your health, and your peace of mind. Setting boundaries also involves being clear and assertive about your needs. Often we avoid setting boundaries because we fear confrontation or upsetting others. We may not want to seem rude or selfish, but the truth is, healthy boundaries are necessary for healthy relationships. When you communicate your boundaries clearly and respectfully, you allow others to understand and respect your needs. People can't read your mind, so it's important to be direct and assertive about what you will and won't tolerate. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed by the demands of work, it's important to set boundaries with your time. You might need to say no to additional projects or set clear limits on when you are available to respond to emails or calls. If someone is constantly draining your emotional energy, it's important to set boundaries with them as well. Let them know that you need space and that you cannot always be available to listen to their problems. Boundaries don't make you a bad person. They make you a responsible one. They allow you to take care of yourself so that you can be present for others when it matters most. Setting boundaries also involves learning to say no without feeling guilty. It's a common challenge, especially for people who are people pleasers. We often feel guilty when we say no, as if we are letting someone down or being selfish. But saying no is not selfish. It's an act of self-preservation. It's acknowledging that your needs are just as important as others. When you say no, you're saying yes to your own health, peace, and well-being. And the more you practice saying no, the easier it becomes. Over time, you'll realize that you don't need to justify or explain yourself. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking care of yourself. The power of boundaries also extends to how we manage our emotions. Emotional boundaries are just as important as physical ones. When we fail to set emotional boundaries, we allow others' emotions and behaviors to dictate how we feel. We absorb their stress, anger, or negativity, and it affects our own mental and emotional state. Setting emotional boundaries means protecting your inner peace. It means refusing to let someone else's negativity control your emotions. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how you react. Emotional boundaries allow you to respond with compassion, but not take on the burden of others' emotions. Boundaries are also about protecting your time. Time is our most valuable resource, and once it's gone, we can't get it back. Setting boundaries with your time is essential for staying focused and productive. It's about saying no to distractions and yes to what matters. When you set clear time boundaries, you prioritize the things that contribute to your goals and values. You make time for your health, your relationships, and your passions. You stop allowing others to take up your time without regard for your needs. Setting boundaries is not a one-time event, it's an ongoing process. You will encounter situations that challenge your boundaries, and you will need to reinforce them regularly. It's okay to reassess your boundaries as your life and circumstances change. What works for you now may not work in the future, and that's okay. Boundaries are flexible, and they evolve with you. The key is to remain aware of your needs and stay true to what you need to protect your well-being. Finally, setting boundaries teaches others how to treat you. When you set boundaries and enforce them, you send a clear message that you value yourself and your time. You teach others to respect you, and in turn, you build stronger, more respectful relationships. Boundaries help create an environment where mutual respect and understanding can thrive. When everyone is clear about each other's needs and limits, relationships become healthier and more fulfilling. Remember, boundaries are a form of self-love. They are not about shutting others out or being selfish. They are about protecting your mental, emotional, and physical health. They are about protecting your mental, emotional, and fulfilling life. So, take a moment to contribute. What are at least three? You can be political all day, every day around the country. What do you need to protect? What are at least three that you need to protect? What are they? Setting boundaries is a powerful act of self-respect that will allow you to live a more empowered, authentic, and joyful life.